Ladies and gentlemen, words have energy and power. They can build, break, bless, or bind. Unknown, let that sit with you for a second, my friends. Because in this world we live in where emojis replace emotion and double taps feel like declarations of love. Most people have forgotten the weight of real words. We're so used to fast replies and faster feelings, we've started treating connection like a casual hobby. But love, real connection, that's not a game, that's warrior level soul work. And the smallest messages, when sent with purpose, can move mountains inside a man's heart. Before we dive in, press like button, hit subscribe, and share this with someone who's tired of playing small in love. This isn't about game playing. This is about game changing. Let's build something real. Hey ladies, imagine this. Your morning message is like the scent of fresh coffee in a quiet room. Doesn't shout, doesn't demand, but it pulls him in softly, powerfully. It becomes the thing he reaches for without even thinking, not because it screams for attention, but because it feels like home. That's the kind of energy we're tapping into today. See, most people think good morning texts are just polite little check-ins, like a nod at the door. Hey, hope you slept well, have a good day. Sweet, right, but also forgettable. It's like handing someone a paper flower. Looks nice, but it has no scent, no life, no soul. But what if I told you that, that same little message if said with the right intention, can shift his whole day because you're trying to impress him, but because you're speaking from a place most people are too afraid to go, your core. Let me be real with you. In a sea of good morning, beautiful texts, it's easy to blend in, easy to feel like you're one of many, but the woman who learns how to speak from truth, technique, she becomes unforgettable. You don't have to write a novel. You don't need to come off as overly clever or charming. You just have to say something that makes him feel in a world where most people are just trying to get a response. Denzel once said, do what you have to do you want to do. And if what you want is a real connection, a love that feels like clarity instead of confusion, you've got to stop texting from fear and start texting from freedom. Because here's the thing, the right message in the morning is like planting a seed. And depending on what you plant, seed grows into either desire, devotion, or distance. Too many women give their energy away in generic little crumbs, hoping to be seen, hoping to be picked. Nah, we're done with that. Today I'm teaching you how to speak like a woman who already knows her worth. A woman who doesn't chase attention, attracts connection. A woman who makes one message feel like an entire experience. And no, it's not about manipulating anyone. This is about alignment, about clarity, about power. You're not texting to make him stay. You're texting from the place inside you that already knows you're the prize. So if you're ready to stop texting like you're unsure and start communicating like you're undeniable, stay with me, because these 7 good morning texts, they're not just words, they're little keys that so unlock something deeper. And once you know how to use them, you won't have to chase a connection ever again. Let's get into it. Number 1. The mystery message. Here's an example of mystery message for you. You won't believe what I dreamed about you last night. And the saying goes, the most unforgettable voices don't scream, they echo. So listen to me, my friend. Most women are shouting to be heard, typing S, trying to prove they're worth a response. But the truth is, you don't have to say much to be remembered. You just have to say the right thing. And say it from a place of calm power, not noisy need. Now imagine this, you walk into a room filled with people, lights are flashing, everyone's talking, laughing, dancing. But across the room there's one person sitting still, looking straight at you, calm, collected, silent, but their silence pulls you in stronger than all the noise combined. That's the power of a message like this one. A whisper that invites curiosity instead of trying to grab attention. Morning, you won't believe what I dreamed about you last night. A cod, or those words, they land differently. They don't demand a response, they invite one. And not just any response, they make his mind itch to know more. Why? Because the human brain is wired to hate unfinished stories. We crave resolution, chase closure. And when you leave just enough space in your message, it becomes a loop. He can't stop trying to close, but I get it. You might be thinking, what if that's too forward? What if he doesn't respond? Let me tell you something, Queen. This isn't about begging for attention. This is awakening curiosity. You're not putting on a show, you're creating a mood, a moment, a mystery. You're not trying to impress him, you're inviting him to participate in a story where he has to fill in the blanks, and once he does that, you're already inside his head. Carl Jung believed that mystery doesn't repel the masculine mind. It draws it in because what is slightly hidden becomes fully captivating. So when he follows up with, okay, tell me the dream, don't hand it all over like a plate of leftovers. Instead, smile to yourself and reply. Let's just say, I woke up smiling. Want to guess that reply gives him just enough to stay hooked, while giving you space to stay centered. Now you've done something powerful. You've stopped being just another person in his inbox. You've become a presence in his thoughts. You've turned a simple text into a mental echo. And when you're in a man's imagination, darling, you're already halfway to his heart. And this is just the beginning. The next message. It doesn't just stir his mind. It moves something deeper. It reminds him of his purpose, his fire, his future. Number 2, the message that grounds his spirit. Here's an example of such message. And a message, I don't know what today holds, but I believe in you and I'm with you. And so ladies, listen to me. Show even a lion needs rest. And sometimes the strongest men need the softest words. Now let's talk about something real. My friends, men, especially the solid, reliable, emotionally grounded ones, rarely talk about what they're carrying. You won't hear it in their voice. You won't see it on their face. But behind that calm presence, there's often a storm. They've trained themselves to walk through silently. That's why your message has to be more than cute. It has to be comfort, more than clever. It has to be calm. When a man wakes up and sees a message that tells him he doesn't have to perform for your approval, something in him exhales, and try this, hey, I don't know what today holds, but I believe in you, and I'm with you. It sounds simple, but it's a quiet kind of powerful. You're not offering solutions, not asking him to open up. You're just holding space. You see, most people are obsessed with motivation, and go get it. Be a beast. But sometimes what a man really needs isn't to be pushed. He needs permission to pause. He needs to know that if everything falls apart today, someone's still standing with him. That someone sees the man, not just the mission. And here's the truth most people miss. When you send this kind of message, you're not babying him. You're not being too soft. You're being a woman in her power. Because the kind of woman who doesn't need him to wear armor around her, she unlocks something in him no one else. He may not say it. He might just reply with thanks. But internally that message becomes his anchor. Because it's not just words, it's a moment of peace in a world that keeps demanding performance. Denzel once said, there's a difference between living and pretending. And real love starts when you stop pretending you're okay all the time. So be the woman who lets him be real. Because when a man feels safe in your energy, he doesn't just stay, he builds with you. And next we're stepping into something beautiful. And not just safety, but shared imagination. The kind that plants you in his daydreams. Without even trying to stay with me. Number 3, the daydream trigger. And here's an example. Woke up imagining us somewhere quiet. Just peace in you. Do you ever picture things like that? And now let me paint a picture for you, my friends. Imagination is where desire breathes. It's not loud like lust. It's not heavy like obsession. It's soft, slow. It sneaks up on you when your guard is down. Like a quiet song playing on repeat in the back of your mind. You can't touch it, but it touches you and the woman who knows how to live there. She doesn't beg for space in his life. She becomes a part of his mental landscape. Here's what most people don't get. Real connection isn't always made in deep talks or big moments. Sometimes it's made in a 5-second image that feels like a future memory. That's what this message does. And try it. Woke up imagining a somewhere quiet, just peace in you. Do you ever picture things like that? But you're not planning a trip. You're not asking for commitment. You're opening a door, a window, a scene. He's not just reading your message. He's in it. A slow morning in a cabin, where no one's rushing anywhere. A long drive through nowhere. Windows down, no destination. Just music and comfort. Rain tapping the glass, while your feet are tangled on the couch. Nothing to prove, just quiet connection. This isn't seduction, it's subtle anchoring. Because the moment he starts to imagine it, he puts you in that picture. And now he's not just picturing a peaceful moment. He's picturing you as his peace. And that, darling, is everything. Men don't always chase what's exciting, but they cling to what feels like home. This message doesn't ask for a plan. It plants a possibility. And possibilities, those are where emotions grow. And Denzel once said, dreams without goals are just dreams. But With emotion, those change everything. Give him an emotion, make him feel something soft, something sacred, something realer than a photo ever could, because when you live in a man's imagination, you're not just liked, you're longed for, and next we're going even deeper, not into fantasy but into the part of him most women forget to reach, the part that longs to be seen. Stay with me. Number 4. The unseen compliment. Here is a quick example. You know what I notice about you? You really listen, like actually listen. So let's get honest, my friends. Most men walk through life being noticed for the same 3 things: what they do, what they have, and what they look like doing it. Compliments come easy. You're so strong, it's so why nice, sure, but common, and what's common fades fast. The truth is most people are out here complimenting the flowers, but the woman who stands out, she compliments the roots. That's exactly what you do. When you send him something like, you know what I noticed about you? You really listen, like actually listen. It's subtle, it's soft, but it's surgical, because no one tells a man that you're not praising his strength. You're honoring his presence. You're not admiring his looks. You're seeing his awareness. And then let me tell you something. Men remember that. Why? Because the world rarely notices their inner world. They get applause when they win, but silence when they show up quietly. They're expected to talk less, feel less, need less. So when a woman sees through noise, when picks out something as overlooked as his ability to genuinely listen, she doesn't just earn his attention. She earns a place in his emotional memory. It's what I call precision praise. It's not generic, it's intentional. You're not saying you're amazing. You're saying it's the small thing you do that most people miss. I see it and it matters. That kind of emotional attention, that's the new seduction. Forget the filters. Forget the flirty lines. This is presence, and presence is what men chase when they're done with the games. Denzel didn't have to shout to command a room. He just showed up with truth, and when your words come from that same place, calm, clear, and anchored, he won't forget you. Because a man doesn't remember every woman who said he looked good, but he'll never forget the one who noticed the thing he didn't think anyone was looking for. And next, going to shift from what he hides to what he hopes for, even if he's never said it out loud. Stay with me. Number 5. The anchor in his chaos. Here is a message you never thought of. No pressure, no answers needed. Just wanted to remind you, you don't have to be strong for me. Let's take a breath. This one, my friends, because this one's different. This one doesn't come from fire. It comes from stillness, from safety, from the kind of love that doesn't rush in, waving a flag but stands strong, like a lighthouse when the storm gets loud. Here's the thing no one talks about. He's the one holding the line for everyone else. His family leans on him. His friends count on him. His job depends on him. And even on his quiet days, he's carrying weights that never leave his mind. He's the guy who can't afford to fall because everyone expects him to stay standing. But then comes your message. Quiet ground, pure. No pressure. No answers needed. Just wanted to remind you. You don't have to be strong for me. That's not a text, that's a lifeline. You're telling him something he doesn't even know how to ask for. You don't have to perform here. You don't have to have the right words. And you don't have to keep your guard up. And you're saying, I love the man, not the mask. He could be having one of those days, withdrawn, dry maybe, distant. Not because he doesn't care, but because he's exhausted, trying to hold it all together. And then your message lands, not demanding anything, not judging, just being there. And that, my friend, is intimacy, not the kind you create with candles and chemistry, but the kind you create with safety. And let me tell you something, men, don't fall in love with the prettiest woman. They fall in love with the woman who makes them feel like they can exhale. Denzel once said, you pray for rain, you gotta deal with the mud too. Love isn't just light. It's showing up for the messy parts, without needing to clean them. So be the one place he can rest, not recharge. Be the voice that doesn't pressure, but grounds. Because when a man finds peace in your presence, he'll protect it with everything. He's got to be the soft place he never knew he needed, but never wants to lose. And next, we're turning time into a trigger. Because the right memory revisited can make him feel you all over again. Stay with me. Number 6. The echo of a memory. And here is a message that echoes. Random moment popped in my head just now. That time you laughed at the dumbest joke. And I caught myself smiling again. That kind of text, it doesn't just sit in his inbox. It pulls him back to that split second of joy, that laugh, that energy, that version of you, with him when everything felt simple and right, even if it was over for a moment. And here's what's wild. You don't need a deep history. You don't need years of memories. One tiny shared spark, one good conversation, one random joke, one look, and you can anchor it for life. Because when you remind a man how he felt with you, he doesn't just remember the moment. He remembers the woman who gave him that moment. It's emotional gravity, a subtle tug on his chest that says, hey, remember this? That feeling wasn't just a fluke. It meant something. And it works even more powerfully when he wasn't expecting it. Out of nowhere in the middle of a busy morning, your message becomes a rhyme machine. Suddenly he's not in his car or at his desk. He's back with you, laughing at something ridiculous and wondering how that moment managed to make its way back into his day. That's not cute. That's connection. Bring him back to a beautiful moment, and he'll want to create the next one with you. And next, we're shifting from what was to what isn't said, but always felt. The message that whispers permission instead of pressure. Stay with me. Number 7. The soft power move. Let's start with this. Most people love the mask. They fall for the smile, the swagger, the strength, but real connection starts when someone quietly says, you can take it off now. I see you and I'm not going anywhere. My friends, this is where power meets peace. Men, especially the ones worth keeping, spend their lives performing at work, in relationships, in society, trying to be strong, controlled, unshaken. What no one tells them is that they don't have to be impressive to be enough. That's what this message gives him. You don't have to do anything to impress me. You just have to be real with me. It's not permission to be careless. It's an invitation to be human. See, a lot of people are attracted, potential, what someone can become, what they could achieve, but the deepest kind of attraction, it's to peace. And peace doesn't come from performance. It comes from presence. When a man realizes he doesn't have to keep proving himself just to be in your space, when he feels that he can just be, and that's enough, his soul exhales. And trust me, he'll run back to that space every time, because women who feel like a break, not another battlefield, are rare, and rare becomes sacred. And there's a quiet kind of power in this message, and you're not begging for his attention. You're not clapping for his performance. You're saying you being real is more attractive to me than anything else you could try to be. And here's what that does. It builds emotional freedom. It tells him you're not being judged. You're being received fully, genuinely, softly, because the truth is, men don't want to always be man. Sometimes they just want to be seen without having to earn it. So don't try to impress him, and don't ask him to impress you. Just give him space to be. That's the woman he chooses. And next, we're closing this out with something timeless. A reminder that sometimes all it takes is one simple truth. Quiet belief that can turn doubt into devotion. Stay with me. Number 8. The unexpected reminder. As the saying goes, a man will replay the moment he felt he mattered long after the words are gone. Words are like pebbles in a river. You drop them once and the ripples last longer than you ever expected. What you thought was a passing moment might be something he carries with him, not because it was loud, not because it was dramatic, but because it made him feel seen in a world that so often treats him like a background player in his own story. That's what this message is. A ripple, a quiet nudge to his memory that says, hey, you said something that mattered, and I didn't forget it. By the way, I still think about that one thing you said last week. It stuck with me more than you know. That's it. A short, subtle, but powerful, because in that one sentence, you're telling him 3 things. 1, I was actually listening. 2, what you said wasn't noise to me. It was value. 3, you left an imprint. And that matters. And this isn't about flattery. You're not feeding his ego. You're feeding his essence. You're not saying you're amazing, and you're saying you impacted me. And that kind of validation, men crave it more than attention, because it's earned. And when something's earned, it sticks. And think about it, everyone wants to be heard, but very few actually listen. This message proves you're one of the rare ones. The woman who's not just trying to be interesting, but who finds interest in him. And that, my friend, emotional gold.
You don't have to quote what he said, word for word. It could have been a story he told, a vulnerable truth he dropped mid conversation, or even a joke that revealed more than he realized. What matters is this: you noticed, and now so does he. Denzel once said, it's not the big speeches that define us, it's the quiet choices. This is one of those quiet choices, one that builds something he won't want to let go of. So be the woman who remembers the little things, and he'll never forget you. And there you have it, my friends, 8 simple messages with soul depth and power. These aren't just texts, they're emotional anchors, quiet reminders and whispers that linger long after they're read. Remember, real connection doesn't come from trying harder, it comes from speaking with intention. So if this spoke to your heart, don't keep it to yourself. Like this video, subscribe for more content, cuts deeper than surface level advice, and share it with a woman who's ready to be felt, not just seen. Until next time, stay soft, stay grounded, and stay unforgettable.